I just said welcome everybody and then it muted myself, but I'm back now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. It's quite a miserable day across the UK today, but we're thankful for you all joining us today. Whether you've been sending emails and very, very productive this morning and feeling on top of work, or whether this is your first call of the day, hope you have a good day. I'll get right into it. So contrary to a lot of digital events at the moment, we're not going to be talking about some of the old faithful channels you've probably come across many, many times. So you won't be hearing about Google, you won't be hearing about Facebook, Twitter, and you won't even be hearing about Threads, unfortunately. But in a short while, we'll be hearing from the incredibly talented Harriet. She'll be taking us through new spaces, new environments, many of which you've probably never heard of. And we're seeing great results for our clients there. So Harriet's depth of knowledge is incredible. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. But first, one channel you may have heard of, Amazon. And at this point, I'll introduce Matt from AMP, who will be sharing some very, very interesting tips and techniques. So whether you're already actively advertising within Amazon, you're already driving revenue through there, or you started to explore the depths and was like, oh, this isn't for me, and backed out, or saw the 15% fees and decided it wasn't for you, I'm sure you'll learn something today. So without further ado, Matt, please take it away.
Hi everybody. I'm Matt, the MD at Marketplace AMP, and as I'm just queuing up my screen, I'll do a little bit of an intro. I've been selling on Amazon for over 12 years now, and sell with brands like Ferrero, Mars Pet Care, Lint Bells, Seventh Heaven. You get the picture. I've done a lot of selling on the channel, so hopefully I'll give you an introduction to the importance of Amazon. Anyone in the world of paid search, you're obviously aware that Amazon's been really sort of smashing it against the big boys like Google and Facebook. Has been taking more and more ad spend. But I just wanted to go through where Amazon sits in the consumer journey, and hopefully it'll dovetail nicely with Harriet's talk later on about driving awareness and the like. So I'll just queue up my slides now. Okay, cool. Right, so I just got 5 points. We've got 10 minutes today, so I'm going to give you a nice flavour of like the Amazon ecosystem and how it sits within the consumer journey, really, and just give you some insights as well. So number one is that basically product awareness is key. It sounds obvious, but you can imagine that most clients or a lot of brands that approach AMP will just say, well, actually, if we just get on Amazon, it's fine because they've got millions of customers. And to give you an idea, in the UK, that there's about 22 million people a month using Amazon, 151 million in the States, 301 million in Europe. So it's a big platform. But in the world of product and also product advertising, it's a blur of ads. The consumer is not just focused on your product. So point number one is product awareness is key. I always ask clients, what are you doing above the line to raise awareness of your brand? Is it TV advertising? Is it Google display? Is it whatever it is? For example, like influencers, to drive awareness is key. And just remember the old adage of like the rule number 7, which is in marketing and brand saliency, that there's this theory out there that the consumer has to see a brand at least 7 times before they consider buying it. But there's research out at the moment with like Forrester research that could be as many as like they have to see it 24 times. So see a brand 24 times before you could actually trust it or want to give it a go as a consumer in the world of FMCG. So just think, the world's a blur. Product awareness is key. And don't forget that when you're actually going into the channel for success. Product discovery. It's a fact that Amazon is where consumers search first for products versus Google. Now, Google is a discovery channel. It's very brand centric, but it's got a nice breakdown here, giving you an idea of that. In the UK, about 63% of people will actually go to Amazon first to discover a product.
Sorry to interrupt. Just to say, I don't think we're popping through the slides at the moment. We're still on the first slide. That's all good. And a question for the audience as well. Like, if you do have questions for Matt or for Harriet throughout, just pop them in the chat and we'll answer them at the end. So, sorry, Matt.
It worked during our little practice run. I do apologise, but
I'll disappear now.
And you can see the product awareness slide. So you remember that that's product awareness is key. It sounds obvious, but there's a lot of brands that come and go, actually, well, we'll just launch our products on Amazon and we'll just sell. But in the world of health and beauty, you're up against the likes of L'Oreal and Garnier that have got millions and millions and millions of dollars to spend on advertising. So product awareness is key, really, when you're going onto the channel. And then product discovery. Hopefully these are working, guys. Just chip in if they aren't. And it goes back to Amazon, was where consumers search first. So you can see it's as high as 74% in Italy, down to about 63% in the UK for when they're searching for brands, or searching for a problem or a solution to a problem, rather, on Amazon. So as a result, we see on Amazon that 60 to 70% of search are generics, as people searching for gardening gifts for women, or facial cleaning, or whatever it may be, pet food for dogs. Those types of searches are more prevalent. So Google is more indexed towards brand. Amazon is a discovery engine for products. But one point I wanted to point out is that that's not the whole picture. You could think as a brand, well, we just need to focus on Amazon. We just need to focus on Amazon advertising, and we'll be fine. Well, we need to think about the bigger picture of why people actually visit Amazon as well. So number 3, why actually consumers visit Amazon? There was a lovely quote from an Amazonian, Yoda Yi, that described Amazon as the Wikipedia of products. You take the buy box away. If you want to find anything about a product or information about a product, consumers go to Amazon. And would you believe it, that actually only 2/3 of people, after actually searching on Amazon as before, as I mentioned, will actually go off and buy the products elsewhere, on and offline, because of the quality of the reviews, because of the quality of the information that they're getting there. So one of the other things that I advise brands is actually, if you had a shop window on Oxford Street and you could have data to say that you'd had 22 million people walking past that shop window on Oxford Street, your brand and your company would invest heavily in the content and the quality of the point of sale. But many brands don't. So it's not just to sell on Amazon your content, it's to sell your brand and raise awareness of it. So that's another sort of takeaway, really, to think about, that people are looking for inspiration for gifting, inspiration for helping other family members for problems they may have, etc. And then people may actually go, well, actually, that's a great product, but I want to go and pick it up before I actually buy it first and then go in store. So just bear that in mind, that obviously that Amazon is a Wikipedia of products. So that may not always be the end of the consumer journey. Okay. So number 4, as with Google, in organic SEO terms, rank is key. And as with Google, broadly aim for the top 3. Whereas I'm saying that, one thing we're working at the moment is face mask, facial care at the moment with Seventh Heaven. So, we want to make sure that that brand, when you're searching on Amazon, is hitting the top 3 as a name, really, because the majority of the sales on Amazon are on page 1, unsurprisingly, and the majority of the sales go to the top 10, unsurprisingly. The lion's share of those sales are the top 3. So what we need to think about is how can we rank there organically, and how we can use advertising on Amazon or Google or TikTok or wherever it may be to drive those sales. So it's going to give you a bit of insight into the algorithm. So broadly, we're looking at click-through rate and conversion and the views in the category. And rather cynically, Amazon will push products with the highest margins to the top of search because it makes good business sense for them. But where I'm coming from is obviously click-through rate. You can increase that through off-site traffic as well as Amazon advertising. But you want to make sure that you're attributing good quality traffic to that. So the conversion rate needs to be high. So as in some ways, when you're looking at sort of traditional SEO, a landing page with a very, very high bounce rate will have a detrimental effect to your SEO. The same is also for Amazon SEO, that obviously if it's not converting, Amazon's not going to increase the rank. So you need to bear that in mind. But also bear in mind that unlike Google, the top 10 generic terms on Amazon drive over 50% of the traffic, whereas broadly speaking within Google, that's driven by a root keyword or keywords as such. So it's quite a broad array of keywords where how consumers will find a solution or looking for a benefit or a specific product, very, very specific long tail search terms as well. So yeah, just bear in mind that rank is key, and we can drive that rank with good quality offsite traffic as well as Amazon traffic as well. And my final point, before I go over my time, is that buying is a disjointed journey on Amazon. So again, sort of Forrester had a really interesting study about the number of screens within the typical US household at 12 now, would you believe? So consumers will actually go and buy on and off their mobile. So an older demographic, so some interesting data for Amazon will say that will research products on their mobile, and then maybe later on in the day go and buy their products on their laptop because they perceive them to be more secure for their credit card details. A younger audience tends to be the other way around. So my point is that once you've done all the ranking and you've driven their awareness and someone's actually found your products on Amazon, then you still need to be front of mind. So things like DSP, demand side platform, are really good that show that people have viewed that product and I want to follow them around across their disjointed buying journey on and off Amazon until they get to the point they're going to buy as well. And that can actually take up to about 2 weeks going into Black Friday. So people are looking at shortlisting their gift lists, maybe adding products to cart on their phone, and then actually going on the day on Black Friday and then buying on their laptop. So the point really is sort of like you need to stay front of mind, and a lot of the principles about remarketing hold true on Amazon as well. And hopefully that gives you a good idea of the buying journey on Amazon and the importance of driving traffic from offsite, on-site, and actually keeping the consumers within your ecosystem as well. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'd like to sort of pass over to Harriet. And any questions, do let us know in the chat.
Super duper. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, good stuff. Amazon, yeah, probably the distant cousin to where many of the attendees today, well, I know from looking at the attendees where the majority of them are spending their budget. At the end of both sections, both talks, after Matt and Harriet have both wrapped up, we'll answer questions. So please do drop some questions in the comments below, and we'll get back to them. So Matt is an absolute fountain of knowledge for Amazon. So please do grill him hard. He said he hasn't had any hard questions yet. So
thanks for that.
please test him. Next, we're going to go slightly more off-piste, and Harriet's going to join us. Hi, Harriet. And we'll be sharing some of the underutilized spaces that can drive incredible results when targeted with the right media. So, Harriet, we can unmute and go when you're ready.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Just checking, is my screen... there we go. Perfect. Right on cue. Brilliant. So thanks for the intro, Liam, and for the talk already, Matt. So as Liam said, we're now going to be looking at some new spaces to drive awareness for brands and retailers. So peak period is fast approaching for a lot of retailers. There's only about 4 months to go until Black Friday, and then the key sales periods in Q4 will kick off soon after. It's reported that there's about 56 touch points in the average customer journey. So starting your brand awareness efforts early can really help put you in a strong position when that time to buy does arrive. So over the next sort of 10 minutes or so, we're going to look at some unique and exciting spaces that we can use to drive a meaningful connection with our customers. So I'm going to pop a figure up on the screen and just give you a couple of seconds to have a quick think about what that figure means to you. So 4,000 is actually at the lower end of the estimation of number of ads that we're exposed to every day. There's loads and loads of different pieces of research that have been done to come towards this number, and it varies greatly. Some estimates actually put this as high as 10,000 ads that we're exposed to every single day. So that's a huge amount of content that is supposed to not only grab our attention, but also engage, excite, and engage and stay with us for us to take on throughout the rest of our day and the rest of our lives. So I'm now going to show you this second figure. And I'm going to tell you that this is the number of ads that we register per day. So it's not the number of brands or advertisements that we remember. That number would actually be a lot smaller. This is actually just the number of times that we recall an ad was there. So this means that even using that more conservative estimate of the volumes of ads that we're seeing every day, we register less than 2% of the ads that we see every single day. So with all this noise around brands and our message, it's more important than ever to differentiate our strategy and stand out from the crowd. So where are people seeing all of these ads? In this day and age, a lot of people are seeing them online. So with social media and internet browsing taking up huge parts of both of our working days and our personal time, our devices have become hotbeds for advertisers to get their message across, and the space is becoming ever more cluttered. However, we do know that people's lives are much more than their devices, and their days present so many more opportunities to connect with them rather than just when they're scrolling on their laptop or looking at the internet on their phones. So over the next sort of 8 minutes or so, I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey through what a typical day could look like for your audience. And we're going to pick out some key moments that we can use to make a meaningful connection with them. So for most of us, this journey is going to start with a pretty rude awakening. We might sort of struggle to get up, we might snooze our alarm a few times, and we might be part of the 27% of people who pick up their phone to play their favourite mobile game before they've even got out of bed, which presents our first opportunity to connect with our customers. So in-game advertising really does mean business. The sector is predicted to grow by 10% between now and 2027, which is helped by around half of Europeans being considered gamers. So gamers in this context aren't just people who have all the tech and loads of games consoles. In fact, it can be really anyone who plays any kind of mobile game or a game on their computer. So this could be Candy Crush, it could be Wordle. So considering these, it kind of helps us understand the potential scale of this audience. So in-game ads have been shown to evoke positive sentiment towards brands associated with them, with up to 2/3 of people saying that they feel positively about the advertisers that they see in-game. Specifically, intrinsic in-game ads are ads that are integrated into gameplay, providing a native advertising format that adds to kind of rather than taking away from the experience of the game. So as you can see in this example, the TalkTalk branding is integrated into the perimeter ad strip of this football game as it would be in a real life football match. So it's this unexpected visibility that leads to strong positive association with the brand and up to 21 times more attention being paid to the content than on standard mobile advertising. So you've got yourself ready, you're out the door and you're listening to your favorite playlist on the commute to work. Here lies the second opportunity to reach your audience. Audio ads present a really unique opportunity for advertisers to reach their customers. And it's crucially while they're engaging in another activity and not looking at a screen. So audio ads have been shown to be hugely engaging, with 61% of listeners reporting that they stay tuned throughout the ads. And that's especially impressive when we think that it's only 19% for linear TV users. 3D audio is a creative technique that aims to mimic the way that we process sound. So in real life, we don't experience sound as fixed and centered, sort of as I'm speaking to you right now. Instead, it's sort of many sounds layered on top of each other, and they're shifting around our field of hearing. So 3D audio ads use the experience of sound to deliver a more emotive creative experience. So if you imagine an alcohol brand might use the sounds of a drink being mixed, so like the clinking of ice, maybe like the crack of a can being opened, alongside the script to evoke the feelings that a consumer might have when they're about to taste their favorite drink. So putting this into practice, Spotify worked with Fuse Tea to produce an ASMR style 3D audio ad to create a relaxing experience for people listening to chilled out playlists and promote the idea of me time. So the campaign was wildly successful and saw 3.5 times increase in ad recall and a 1.8 times increase in brand awareness compared to a standard audio ad. So time for lunch now. You've probably forgotten the sandwich that you've made for your lunch, if you're anything like me. So you head out to the shop to go and buy something. On your walk, you might pass a digital out-of-home ad. So digital out-of-home and programmatic out-of-home essentially do what they say on the tin. They're digitized versions of classic billboards and street signage. The digital element allows them to be much more targeted, flexible, and measurable than offline digital out-of-home. So you've probably heard a lot about digital out of home in the marketing world for some time. Unfortunately, COVID sort of curtailed its rapid rise slightly, but it is back on track, and spend reportedly increased by 23% between 2021 and 2022. So it's proven to be a powerful tool, not only for driving awareness, but also action. So campaigns have reported that as many as 62% of their viewers engaged in their mobile device with their mobile devices to look at the brand after seeing a digital out-of-home ad. And I've got a couple of case studies here to sort of show you the sort of the importance that or some success stories of digital out-of-home. So Jägermeister used digital out-of-home to launch their new cold brew coffee product, activating across screens in areas with high footfall amongst their strictly over 21s audience in the US. The campaign saw brand awareness increase by 73% by the end of the campaign. And popular gym group Virgin Active demonstrated success in the field by running a geo and time-targeted digital out-of-home campaign to reach commuters in the city, encouraging them to sign up to the gym closest to their work. This saw 3 times higher footfall to the local gyms compared to the pre-campaign period. So you finish the working day, your feet are up on the sofa, and you switch on your smart TV to settle down for the evening. Over the past few years, connected TV has rocketed in popularity, and now about 2/3 of the UK population own one. It's signed in, which means it's a cookieless environment. It's also the largest screen in the house and automatically sound on, so it's an excellent environment for high impact branding. Watch time for connected TV is also reported to be around 50% higher than linear, and audiences are more engaged, with attention rates at about 82% compared to 69% for linear. So this creates a huge opportunity for marketers to reach people through this channel. The animal charity, the RSPCA, worked with Quantcast to deliver a full funnel connected TV campaign with objectives from brand awareness all the way through to conversion. So the campaign demonstrated the value of connected TV throughout the funnel, seeing a 25% lift in ad recall and over 200% more donations on site during the campaign run. So finally, just before heading off to bed, you might find yourself listening to the radio through your voice assistant. The voice assistants take many different forms. You've got Apple's Siri, Amazon's Alexa, Google's Nest, and that's just to name a few. And 39% of adults in the UK now say that they regularly use a voice-activated assistant. So while voice assistant ads aren't quite widespread yet, they're a hot topic for the future of personalised advertising. So voice-activated ads are user-led. They ask for permission to be interacted with, meaning that they're much less intrusive as an ad format than many others. Some of you might remember in 2021, Barocca Boost becoming the first FMCG brand to adopt actionable audio. It was a really clever campaign that started with an audio ad being delivered to voice assistants that were playing the radio, appealing to the bad weather and the colds that people were getting around that time of year. The call to action was a voice prompt that people could use to engage with their voice assistant, and that would take them through to a custom conversation about the product. So they found that 46% of people went on to ask for more information, and 23% of them went on to make a purchase just off the back of this campaign. So over the last 13 hours, which we managed to condense down into about 10 minutes, you can see that a person's average day presents so many opportunities for your brand to connect with them in meaningful ways. To elevate your awareness strategy ahead of peak and start making meaningful connections with your customers, just make sure that you're considering not only how you're reaching your audience, but also in what space you're doing so. Thank you.
Brilliant. Love that. Thanks, Harriet. I feel like we've time traveled a little bit, having gone those 13 hours in such fast time. So thanks very much. we'll ask a couple of questions, and we'll give a little bit of time for comments to come through. So if anyone's watching got any questions, like difficult ones, simple ones, like throw them out. That's absolutely fine. Harriet, I'll let you catch your breath back, and I'll start with yourself, Matt. I mean, I think you hinted at this a little bit during your presentation, but how does like off-site traffic influence Amazon? What can we be doing to drive rank aside from running ads within the Amazon ecosphere? If you could just unmute and answer that'd be useful.
Sure. Okay, no problem. Yeah, so I think there's a couple of elements. Obviously, the awareness piece around off-site traffic, and we see a lot of success with influencers first and foremost. Amazon's been trialing a new platform called Inspire, where you can actually have influencers integrated into the system, and they can obviously talk about like product review, and then obviously there's product there to buy. So you can see the way that Amazon's going. There's also like a streaming service over in the States, similar to sort of QVC, where you're having that integration. So that whole area around influencers is really important for driving awareness and sales. And obviously, click-through rate conversions and sales are one of the key areas about driving rank. The A9 algorithm on Amazon has been updated, depending on what you read and believe, because it's never been actually released. It's a bit like Google's algorithm. There's a lot of hearsay and what have you, but it's either A9 or A10. A9 is the algorithm, and it's been updated to actually benefit off-site traffic at the point of launch, particularly during the honeymoon period when you're launching a product. It's an indicator to Amazon going, oh, this product's popular. Influencers driving traffic into the site. Let's give it a bit more rank, a bit more airtime, as it were. And also off-site traffic, there's something called like the brand referral bonus. So Amazon's encouraging brands to drive traffic into the Amazon because they get free traffic first and foremost. So you can get a little bit of that 15% fee that you mentioned. You can get a credit against that, depending on the category as well. So Amazon's actually rewarding brands to drive off-site traffic as well. So hopefully gives you an idea of why it's a good idea to do that.
Interesting. What sort of kickbacks are we talking? Is that like 5%, or are we talking like a fraction of a percent?
Up to 5% off your referral fee. So if you drive a person visits from your Facebook campaign, for example, and buys that product, you'll pay only 10% referral versus 15%. So because Amazon to reward you to do that, so it's like for a brand referral bonus score.
Yeah, that might soften the blow for some of these acquisition costs that people are scared about with Amazon. I guess talking about awareness and driving traffic, Harriet. You mentioned quite a few new spaces there, like games, 3D audio, digital out of home, connected TV, voice assistant. If I'm a brand or a retailer and I'm excited by your presentation, I'm like, I want to do them all, but I've only got so much budget and so much creative. How do I assess which one's right for me and where I spend my time?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and definitely something that comes up a lot with the volume of new spaces and all of them being pretty exciting. So on your creative question, a lot of the brands that are offering these activations, the partners that are offering these activations do have creative resource that we can tap into. So for example, Spotify have a great creative team who can really help to sort of visualize how you want your ad to sound, so they can support you throughout that whole journey. And then similarly with a lot of the digital out of home and the in-game as well. I think specifically in-game is a great one if you don't have a huge amount of creative available to you. It's really effective with those kind of perimeter ads. There's tons of different types that you can have a look at, but it really only requires a logo, and it's so effective with just a logo that sort of all brands will have access to immediately. So I definitely think that these are options. While they look really high impact, they are very achievable for clients with sort of smaller sort of creative suites and budgets. And then just quickly, sorry, to touch on your other question around which one's right for you. So I think the beauty of kind of where we've got to with a lot of these spaces is that they are becoming more measurable. And whereas previously we would think of digital out of home and connected TV is kind of purely existing in the brand space, there are so many measurement techniques that are being introduced now that really help to reflect performance on the bottom line. So we've got things like connected TV. We can add pixels to site, which is what the RSPCA example used to monitor donations. And digital out of home, we can look at footfall to store as well. So looking at sort of how many people exposed to the ad then go on to visit a store. So measurement really is becoming full funnel in a lot of these kind of typically brand awareness driving techniques.
Well, thanks very much, Harriet. And I guess if you're a brand and you're interested in some of those channels, get in touch with us and we can probably help advise you as well. And it's quite difficult when I make up a brand and don't give you any details. That's brilliant. Thanks very much. We're going to wrap up there because we've just gone over time. But thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for listening. If you watched live or you're watching later, have a good afternoon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
I think this is where we get to do a nice like awkward wave until the stream ends.
Thanks everyone.